So yesterday I started discussing about trees. Trees is a nonlinear data structure as we have discussed. Today I'll be starting the discussion on a specific type of tree that is called binary tree. So just to have a recap, an n-array tree is a tree uh, the nodes of which have at most n number of children. So an n-array tree can contain at most, I mean, each of the nodes can contain at most n number of children. This was the example that we were discussing in the last class as well. Here we have seen that the value of n here is 3, because if it is a full tree, I mean, if there is no further insertion is allowed in this tree, you can see here there are two for this node there are two children, there are three children of this node, three children of this node. This is 0, this is 0 as they are leaf nodes. This is 2, again this is 0, 0. So all the leaf nodes will be having 0 children. So as you can see, at most, as this tree has 3 child, so that's why it is called a 3-array tree or ternary tree, or rarely it is also called a tertiary tree. So the definition of a general n-array tree is, it will be it will be a finite set of nodes having, this is very important, having a parent child relationship with the with following the that also follows these three criterias. So first, there should be one specially designated node that will be referred to as the root of the tree, root of the n-array tree specifically, and the remaining nodes will be partitioned into basically this, I mean, there should be this relationship. These remaining nodes will be able to, we will be able to partition into this many disjoint sets, where each of these TIs will be again an n-array tree. And the third specific criteria, which actually allows us to have the tree, is each node of this finite set T other than the root will be having an unique parent, and for the root there will be I mean, the root will be not be having any parent, it will be at the toppest level or the 0th level. So if n equals to 2, it is called binary tree. If n equals to 3, it is called ternary tree or tertiary tree. And if n equals to 4, it is called a quaternary tree. Now let's talk about a specific tree called 5-array tree. So can someone say what, from the definition, what will be the definition of a 5-array tree? Anyone?
So a node can have a maximum 5 children.
Right, maximum 5 children as well as, so basically it will be again be a finite set, T with a parent-child relationship, of course. The first criteria is it should have a specially designated root, a special node that we will be referring to as root. The second criteria is the remaining nodes can also be partitioned into basically m partitions, where the value of m will be in between 0 to, can someone say what will be the ending range?
5.
It should be 5. Absolutely correct. And the third criteria is, of course, uh, each of the nodes other than the root, each node except root will be having one unique parent. So let's try to draw a very basic uh, 5-array tree. So let's consider this. So let's consider A is the root. Acha, is it a 5-array tree? Anyone?
Can be.
Anyone else? Yes, it is. It can be a 5-array tree because this is the root. The first criteria is getting satisfied here. This is the root, and the rest of the nodes can also be partitioned into, here the number of partitions are 2. So basically here the value of m is 2. Of course this condition is getting satisfied, so that's why it is also a 5-array tree. But of course you can see, we can understand that this is basically strictly, I mean this is a strictly a binary tree, but following this criteria it can also be considered as a 5-array tree. So now if I add some other terms here, other nodes here, say, let's add some further here, J and K, and say, is it a 5-array tree?
No, it's a 6-array tree.
It's a 6-array tree because for this, so because if we consider this as the T, the finite set of nodes, this is a specially designated root. The rest of the nodes, which are B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, can be partitioned into, initially it is 2. So these 2 are the first partitions. This is the first partition and this is the second partition. Now we need to check, I mean we need to check this second and I mean all these 3 conditions on these individual subtrees or individual partitions as well. So in this subtree or in this partition, this is the root, right? And the rest of the nodes, which is D, E, F, can be partitioned into 3 different subset. Of course, disjoint subsets. So D, E, F. So it is okay. So it can be a 5-array tree. But here in this subtree, we can see the first condition here is this. This is the root. The rest of the nodes are K, G, H, I, J, L. So these 6, so you can see the rest of the nodes are actually partitioned into 6 different subsets, disjoint different subsets. So that's why it's not actually, so here the value of m has become 6 for this part. For this part it has become 3. So for this subtree, this condition is not getting satisfied. That's why this is not actually a 5-array tree. As the value of m is 6 here, it is actually a 6-array tree. So to have a 5-array tree, we must, I mean the nodes must have at most 5 children. Okay, I hope it is clear. Any doubt up to this? All right. So the primary focus of this course will be on binary trees. So a binary tree from the earlier definition will be, again, there should be three criteria. The first criteria is there should be a specially designated uh, node called root. Second criteria will be the rest of the nodes can be partitioned into m disjoint subsets where the value of m should be between 0 to 2. And the third criteria is obvious, each node other than the root will be having one unique parent. So for the completion, let's write that as well. All right. So here, this is an example of a binary tree. Why? So this is basically the root. And the rest of the nodes, as you can see, the rest of the nodes are from B to N. Initially, they can be broken up into two disjoint subsets. And each of them are recursively again binary trees. So this is again will be considered as a root, this one. And the rest of the nodes will also be, we will also be able to partition them into disjoint subsets and so on. So now my question to you is, if there is a connection between this and this, and let's consider this is not here, so will it be a binary tree? So this node is not there. So there is the left child of I is pointing to G. Will it be a binary tree?
G has two different parents. So
G
Sir,
have,
no unique parent.
correct. So the third condition is not getting satisfied for this node. So that's why it is not actually a binary tree. It will be, I mean, if I point this, I mean, if I point the left child of I to G, G will be having two parents, E and I. That's why it will not be a binary tree anymore. All right. So let's define binary tree from a recursive perspective. So a binary tree T is either an empty by empty tree. I'll be coming to what I am referring to as an empty tree. So again, a binary tree is either an empty tree or will be consisting of a node, basically the root node that will be storing the data, and a left child, left subtree, which is also a binary tree, and a right subtree, which is also a binary tree. Now you can see in this definition, so I hope you have you are still remembering the discussion on recursion in CS 3101. So I am defining a binary tree T as either empty or having a node which is always I am referring to as root, and the rest, I mean, and the node will be having one left child which is again a binary tree, a right child which is again a binary tree. So just for the for the time being, let's draw one node here. So a node I am referring to one, say a doubly linked list. For the time being, let's do that. So let's consider this is the data part. This is the data part D, and say this is the left child and this is the right child. So the definition is saying a binary tree T is either empty. Acha, okay, let's define what what I am referring to as an empty tree. So an empty tree is just a null value. So anything, so if I declare one structure and initialize the value of null in that variable of that structure, of that object of that structure, that we can refer to as an empty tree. So here this is the node. So this is the node. So this is this I am referring to as the root. This is the root. Sorry. And the root will be consisting, so there will be one data. This is the data part. This is the left child part. This is the left child. And this is the right child. And by recursion, I am referring to these two as again two binary trees. So these two can also be empty, isn't it? So if I draw a tree here, say A, is it a binary tree? Anyone? Is this a binary tree or not?
Yes.
Yes. Why? So if I draw a node around it, and let's consider that the node will be having three things to store: the data, the left and the right. Here the left and the right are containing null. So as I am discussing, so this is the root node and this is the data, and this is also a binary tree, this is also a binary tree which is pointing to null. So this is actually a binary tree. Now moving forward, if I add one node here, B, will it be a binary tree by this definition?
Yes.
Yes. So how it is actually happening? So this was the node, the root node, the initial root node. This left pointer is pointing to B, right pointer is pointing to null. This is again a binary tree, and here this is the node, this is pointing to null, and this is pointing to null. So this is, I mean, only this is actually binary tree. The left subtree here, this is again a binary tree. Why this is a binary tree? Null, because of this first criteria. The binary tree can also be empty. So now if I look at this whole tree, this is the root. The left subtree is a binary tree. The right subtree is again a binary tree. So let's just draw a line. And this is the right subtree. So again, in this right subtree, which will again be a binary tree, as it is a recursive definition, we'll be considering this as a root, the new root. And the left child will be again a binary tree, the right child will again be a binary tree. Then again we will be considering this as the root, the left child which is null, the right child of C which is again null. So this is the binary tree. Now we'll be coming back to the right child of B, which is this. The root will be this E, the left child binary tree, right child binary tree, again the left child of E null, okay, binary tree, right child null, okay, binary tree, and so on. So I hope you have understood the concept of the recursive definition of this binary tree. Is there any question? Okay. So again, formally defining an empty tree is just a null pointer. So it basically represents a binary tree with no element, as we can already understood that as I was discussing here. So if A is the only child, only node here in the tree, so it is containing three values, actually three members. One is the data, which is storing the value of A. One is the left child pointer, right child pointer. Both of them are again some nodes which do not contain any element, which do not contain any element. So these nodes which do not contain any element are called, so this one and this one are called the empty tree. Got it? All right. Now we will be looking at some special cases of binary trees. The first of them is called a full binary tree. For a full binary tree, each node of the tree will be having either zero children, zero child or zero children, or two children. So as you can see in this example, it is a full binary tree. So if first of all, if we consider this as the root, this root contains two children. Okay. Now this we will be recursively considering this as the root. This root contains two children. Now we will be considering this as the new root. This contain no children. So this is again satisfying the criteria, zero children. Now considering this, two children, considering this, two children, considering this, and this, having no children. So it is basically a full binary tree. So again, just to recap things, if I write the number of nodes in the just below the number of child just below the node, so this will be 2, this will be 2, 0, 0, 0. Here I will be writing 2, 0, 2 and 0. So here the values, the number of children will be either 0 or 2, and that will be called as a full binary tree. It is also called a strictly binary tree. Why strictly binary? Because as here it is, I mean, the number of children are either 0 or 2. So that's why it is strictly binary tree. Either it is strictly 2, that is binary, and binary child, binary children, 2 children, or it does not contain any child. So that's why it is also called a strictly binary tree. The next special type of binary tree is called the complete binary tree. So the complete in the complete binary tree, if we consider the labels, so what is the label of this node? If I if I want to write the label, what is the label of the root node? Anyone? Come on, guys. What is the label of the root node in a binary in any tree?
It's a 2.
It's no. The label is 0.
0.
Right. I mean, the labels are from top to down.
We had
So-
label.
Yeah, label. So this is level 1, this is level 2, and this is level 3.
ഭർത്താവാണ്
Yeah, sorry.
അത് ചോദിച്ചത്
Do you want to ask something, anyone? I guess not. Okay. So this is the 0th level, this is the 1th level, 2th level, and 3th level. As we have discussed earlier, yesterday in the class, what is the level? So all levels of the tree is full. Full means, I mean, all the possible nodes that can be there in the label are actually containing one value. That is, I mean, I'm referring to as a fullness of the, I mean, of a label, except the last level. So here the last level is 3, where the last level is filled from left to right. Now, if I just put a number just above the nodes, you will be able to better understand the thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I number them, so as you can see in the label 0, only one value is there, that is the root. Label 1, 2 values are there. Level 2, 4 values are there. Level 3, from left to right, we are completely filling. So my question to you, if I insert another node to this complete binary tree, where will it be inserted to keep it as a complete binary tree? If I say, if I have another node, say k, which I want to add in this complete binary tree, where should I put this node so that it remains a complete binary tree?
Right child of I.
Right child of I, absolutely correct. So I should be putting it here as the right child of I. Okay, another question. So I am referring to, I mean, these are the levels, right? So in the 0th level, there is only one element at most. As you can see, these are the at most one element can be there in the 0th level, as it is a tree, because in the 0th level only the root will be there, and so on. So for a binary tree, what will be the number of nodes in level I? Maximum, sorry, what is the maximum number of nodes in level I? Anyone? The maximum number of
2 to the power I.
2 to the power n. Everyone agrees with that? Maximum number of nodes, basically. There is at level I will be 2 to the power I. As you can see, 2 to the power 0, 1, 2 to the power 1, 2, 2 to the power 2, 4, 2 to the power 3. So at most there can be 8 elements. So if I just write these beside the labels. So here 2 other nodes can also be placed, which are presently containing null values. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now at level 4, if I consider level 4, how many total number of elements can be at max can be present in this level? 2 to the power 4, which will be 16. Why 16? For all these 8 nodes in the level 3, each of them can have at most 2 children, isn't it? So 8 node at most having 2 children, so 8 into 2, it will be 16, and so on. In level 5, it will be 32, level 6, it will be 64, and so on. All right, moving ahead. The next special type of binary tree is called a perfect binary tree. This is a binary tree in which all the internal nodes, so I hope you remember what is an internal node. So internal nodes are the non-leaf nodes. So basically the nodes which is having at least one child. So this is internal node, this is internal node, this is, so basically A, B, C, E, H, I, and M, these 6 are internal nodes. So all internal nodes will be having 2 children, and all the leaf nodes, so these are the leaf nodes. This is the leaf node, this is the leaf node, this is the leaf node. So these leaf nodes will be having will be present in the same level or same depth. So again, if I write the level beside it, so this is at the 0th level, these are the 1th level, 2th level, and 3th level. So in the leaves are present at the highest level, and they will be, all the leaves will be at the same depth or same level. Now just wondering, so just if I add another node here, so will it be, so Q say, just, so I add another node in the left side of D. Why it is not a perfect binary tree? Also say let's QR, let's have this. Why this is not a perfect binary tree? Anyone?
Q and N are leaves but don't have the same depth.
Very nice. So the first condition is getting satisfied. All internal nodes have 2 children. So you can see this is also an internal node now. So all the internal nodes have 2 children, but all leaves are not at the same level because this has come to level 4. Now the leaves are this Q, R, N, F, G, J, K, Q, P. Sorry, there is a repetition. It should not be there. So in trees, there should not be any repetition of data. I'll be discussing this more elaboratively in the maybe in the next week, or if time permits at the end of today's lecture. So, but you, as I was discussing, all these leaf nodes are not at the same level. So that's why this is not this tree has become what type of tree is it? I have discussed earlier. It is not a perfect binary tree. Then what it is? It is both full as well as complete. So full binary tree, each node has 2 or 0 children, and for complete binary tree, all levels are full except the possibly the last level. So as you can see, this is a full as well as a complete binary tree, but it is not a perfect binary tree. Everyone with me? I hope. Okay. Now again, this I have already briefly discussed. So consider a perfect binary tree having a height h. So how many nodes in total a perfect binary tree with height h can contain?
2 to the power h plus 1 minus 1.
Very nice. So it should be 2 to the power h plus 1 minus 1. Why? So let's consider a smaller tree. So this is at the 0th height, this is at the 1th height, 2th height, and 3rd height. So basically if these are basically the labels, we can also refer to them as labels. So the height of this tree is the highest level. So the height of this tree is 3. So how many nodes are there in total? If you count, it is 15. So let's consider up to this. Let's consider we have the tree up to this A, B, and H. Now A is at the level 0, B and H are at the level 1. So the height is basically 1. So and the total number of nodes is actually 3. So basically 2 to the power 1 plus 1, basically 4. I mean 2 to the power 2 square minus 1, which is 3. I mean 2 to the power 2 square minus 1 is basically 3. So that's why it is, I mean, up to this level, up to level 2, I mean level 1, we have a total of 3 nodes in a perfect binary tree. Now, if I look at the whole tree, the height is again 3. So at each level, we can have a total of at max 1 child here, 2, not 1 child, 1 node here, 2 nodes here, 4 nodes here, and 8 nodes here. If we do the maths, it will be following this pattern. All total, so it's just a, what type of series is this? So at level, I mean, after computing the number of nodes that can present in a level, what we need to do is we need to sum them up to get the total number of nodes, right? Extremely sorry for my, yeah. So what type of series is this? 1, 2, 4, 8, then 16.
Geometric series.
It's a geometric progressive series, GP series. And we are actually adding them up. So if I hope you will be able to do the maths on your own. So if we follow this, if we do this, if we in a single statement, if we can note this, we can denote this, it will be 2 to the power h minus 1 plus 1. So here for 3, so it is 2 to the power 4 minus 1, which is 15. As you can see, 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, it is actually 15. Any doubt up to this? All right, moving ahead. So, question, is it a perfect binary tree? We have already discussed this. Yes, it is actually a perfect binary tree. Is it a complete binary tree? Answer, please.
Yes.
Yes, it is a complete binary tree. Is it a full binary tree?
Yes.
It is also a full binary tree. So basically, a perfect binary tree is also a complete as well as a full binary tree. It will be a full binary tree. But the other way around is not true. A full binary tree will be a complete I mean another question to you is whether a full binary tree will be a complete binary tree or not. Whether a full binary tree will be a complete binary tree or not.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, because for the complete binary tree, we must all the nodes must have 0 or 2 children. But for full binary tree, so this is, I mean, if I just remove this oops, sorry, not able to do that. So if I just remove this is actually what? Is it a full binary? Is it a complete perfect binary tree? No. Is it a complete binary tree?
Yes.
It is a complete binary tree. Why?
First 3 levels are filled, and then last level is filled from left.
Last level is filled from left. Then what is the criteria for having for a full binary tree?
Each node should have 2 or 0 children.
Each node should have 2 or 0 children. So are you sure you are not jumbling up between full and complete?
I may have, I don't know.
So anyone else? That's why I told you to just take notes in between. So is it a full binary? Is it a complete binary tree? This example?
Yes, sir.
It is a complete binary tree. Is it? I mean, are you saying that?
Yes, sir.
Acha, okay. Let's put a yes here. And is it a full binary tree?
No, sir. Because it has one children on M.
It is a one children of M.
Yeah.
What is the criteria of being a full binary tree?
Either 0 or 2 children.
Correct. So it is not actually a full binary tree. Please don't confuse between this full and complete. Please refer to, that's why I told you to take notes. So yes, it is a complete binary tree because it's filled from left to right, and it is not a full binary tree because this node have one child. The criteria is either it should have 0 child or 2 children. Okay, moving ahead. So now we want to represent a binary tree. So basically there are two ways of representing a binary tree. Both of them are using some linear data structure. One is using array and another is using linked list. So first let's look at the array representation. So let's consider this as a toy example of binary tree. So the data are A, B, C, D up to J. So can someone guess what will be the way of storing this? So basically what we need to do is we need to store this parent-child relationship or this left-child, right-child relationship in some way so that we can understand uh, the the parent of a child as well as the child of a node. Can someone say how can we do that? My hint to you is we should be using, I mean, this is the data array. So this is one array, you can see indexed from 0 to 9 as there are 10 elements. The hint to you is we should be using 2 more arrays to represent this parent-child relationship. How can we do that? Please, anyone? It's an easy one.
One array for the left child of every node and one array for right child of every node.
Very nice. So how are you going to address this? So the left child of A, so basically we will be having some you can consider a column here. So this can be considered as a left, this can be considered as a right. So the left child of A will be stored here. So basically here it will be B. Right child of A will be stored here, which is basically C. Then this will be actually continued for all the nodes. So the left child of B is D, the right child of B is E. Similarly for C, I will be doing the same. Basically F and G. For D, there is no left child, so it will be basically null. By cross, I am referring to null. So let's just put a /0, which is also referred to as null. And for E again, it will be having 2 values. For F, the left child will be null. /0 again, so /0 represents null. I hope you remember this from the C lectures that we have in CS 3101. And the right child of F will be J, and so on. So this is actually the representation. Here, I mean, as /0 looks bad here, I just put a -1 here. So what I am doing here is I am not actually storing the value. Here I am storing the values, but for efficiency, we are not storing the values here. Can you understand what I am storing in these values, in these indices?
The address.
Correct, the index positions. So this is so basically, if I randomly choose one node, say E, if I choose this, so the 4th position, E is present. The left child of E is stored in the 7th position. So this is the left child of E, and the right child is present at the 8th position. So this is the right child of E. Now if I look at the tree, so as you can see, so basically I am storing them linearly, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see E is stored in the 4th position, and the left child is present in the 7th position, the right child is present in the 8th position, as you can see here as well. This is another way just to store the data, but can you say what will be the problem that this representation can have? This is a question to you. So intentionally, so that's why I started with this, to make you understand what can go wrong with this. Not actually, it will not be a wrong representation, but it will not be the efficient one. So my question to you is, instead of storing the indices, the index values of this data node, if I store the actual data, instead of storing 1, if I store B here, instead of storing 2, if I store C here, what will be, I mean, why it is not, I'm saying that it is not an efficient representation. Why?
We will have to search for B in the data.
We'll need to search for B in the data. No, I'm actually storing the value of B here. So if I want to, so for any random value, so if I again replace this with H and replace this with I, so for any random node, say E, if I want to know the left child of E, I will be directly going to that position. So I know the position of this index, position where this E is stored in the data node. I'll be going to that index position for the left child, and that is actually storing the left node. I mean left child of this node, right? It should not be a problem. You get the answer, right? It should not be. I mean, whatever you are saying, it's not actually a problem. But it's not a problematic, as I'm repeating. It's not the most efficient one. Why?
Sir, if the data elements are very big in size,
Very nice. Very
then
nice.
we are storing lot of data.
Absolutely.
Index is always smaller in size.
Correct, correct. So basically, here I am storing only some alphabets, A, B, C, D, and so on. This data can be a structure as well, which might be storing, say, an array itself. So this every node can actually store an array itself. So if I keep on storing the data instead of the index, I am actually misusing the memory. I mean, I am actually taking up a much more memory than it is expected to be used. So instead, what we can do is we can simply store the index position. So that's why it is more efficient. Do you have any question up to this? All right. So there is another added. Yes, you have some question, I hope.
Sir, if it is not a data and a pointer, then the data it points to is already at the memory. So how is this using memory more efficiently?
Now, if you want to, so let's declare a structure here. So let's consider this as a structure. So say struct node. Struct node, which is actually storing the data. Say the data consists of, say, int age, say int marks, and say character array, say name. So each of these nodes contains, instead of just, so here the stored stored elements are only character, right? So basically character A. So A equals to A for this node, A equals to, say, C for this node, and so on. But if instead of storing just a character, if I store a structure, if I store the object of a structure, then instead of storing A, I need to store all these three elements, isn't it? So for this example, I am just storing the alphabets. But for this example, when I need to store not some implicit data type, but some structure or union, then I am actually storing more than what I mean, more than I'm actually taking up a much larger memory, right? So for int character, it is taking 4 bytes. For int marks, it is taking 4 bytes, and character names, if I put 80, it is actually considering 80 bits. So altogether, I am considering around 28 bytes. So all these 28 bytes needs to be stored here. Sorry, not here. Here it is already stored, for here as well as here. You get that? It's a nice question.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
But what I am referring to, I mean, what I am suggesting is, instead of storing the data itself, the data is here in this example, 28 byte each data. What I will be doing is, I will be keeping one data array. Here all the data. So here I will be storing this. So all this will be stored with the individual objects of this object of this structure. And instead of storing the object of this structure again here, I will be storing the position in which that object is stored in this array. You get it? So basically, initially the data was, say, I mean, for the initial example with only the alphabets, the data was char data and say 10, and left child, I mean, we can use int left. Again, it will be an array of size 10, and also int right, which will be containing 10 indices. And there will be a 1-to-1 correspondence. 1th, I mean, 0th index will be this. I mean, there will be a 1-to-1 correspondence. But instead, I mean, if we do not want to store the index, instead, if we want to store the data itself, this should be changed into, you can understand, it should be changed into, again, character, not integer. Again, this should be changed into character, not integer. Now, if the data type is changed from character to this struct node, then what we need to do is, we need to store node data and then 10. And if I again want to store the data itself in the left and right child, like B and C here, I need to have node, sorry, node left 10 and also node right 10. So now you understand, I hope you understand that this is actually causing, I mean, instead, I mean, this node left and node right will be having a large size in the memory. Instead, what we can do is, we can actually store the data in only one position. Here you can see this is kind of redundant. I am storing the same data maybe in this location, in this array as well as in this array. Only the root will be stored in only the data, only the first array, but all the other nodes, as all the other nodes have some, all the other nodes are some child of some nodes, it will be getting stored here or here as well as here. But what I am suggesting is, instead of storing the node itself, we can store the location of that node in this data array. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So any question up to this? Okay. So there are another array representation that we can follow, but let's defer it for the next week, because I mean, more than 1 hour class is, I mean, at some point it can become a little bit boring, but I mean, if you are okay, I can complete the discussion on this array representation at least today. Please, I mean, please say whether I go ahead today or let's defer it for the next class, whether whichever is preferable for you.
It's fine with me if you continue.
Anyone who is having some, I mean, who is already has, I mean, it has already become boring today. I mean, feel free to, I mean, don't be shy. Just go ahead and say. Acha, okay, I hope you are okay with this. So let's at least continue with the array representation. So it is also possible to represent a binary tree using a single array. Here I am using 3 arrays. One, for the first array I am storing the data. In the second and third array I am storing the position of the data. There was an one-to-one correspondence between the data and the left child and the right child. But as I said, it is possible to represent a binary tree using a single array. So what we will be doing is, if a binary tree with n nodes is represented sequentially, then for any node with index I, we will be referring to the right child and left child in some way. First of all, let's just number them. So this is at the 0th position. This is at the 1th position. Now, here I was putting the number here for 7, 8. But as you can understand, there are 2 empty binary trees in the left and right side of D. Here in this representation, I was ignoring it, completely ignoring it. But here, what I need to do is, I need to store, I mean, I need to number them accordingly as well. So although it is empty, I need to number them. And this will be 9, this will be 10. Again, there is an empty tree, empty subtree here, which will be 11, then 12, then it will be 13. Again, it's a null node. It will be 14. So if a binary tree with n nodes, in this case, the value of n is, can you say what is the value of n here? Anyone?
15.
No. You are, I mean, you are thinking in the right direction. It will be 13. Because 0 to 12. I mean, these are there, but as the last node is at the 12th position, so we'll be considering from 0 to 12. But to keep things simple, we will be referring to them as 15. So basically, there will be, so there are, in total, there are 15 nodes in this binary tree. The 0th node contains A, 1th node contains B, 2th node C, and so on. The node with, I mean, the 7th node or the node with the corresponding value 7 contains null or an empty tree. Similarly, the 8th node as well, which contains again an empty tree, and so on. So if a binary tree with n nodes is represented sequentially, as you can see, there is a sequence. So the sequence is something like this: 0, then 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I can put an arrow here, kind of. Sorry, the first arrow should be this direction. So basically this. So if I number them sequentially, the parent of I will be at this position if I is not equals to 0. So what I am referring to by this modulus of I/2? Anyone? So again, I remove the numbers. So actually it will be removing the numbers. So let's move. Okay, no, okay. So let's refer to here. So the parent of I will be at the mod of I/2. So again, if I number them 0, 1, 2, 7, 8, then 9, 10, and this is 12. The parent of any node when I is not equals to 0 will be in this position. So if I randomly consider this, the parent of I will be, so the position of f is 5. So 5 by 2 is what? What is this? Anyone?
Is it the floor function?
Yes.
Two.
So it should be
2.
2. Correct.
So, but the parent of 2 in this case is not 1.
Correct. You are absolutely correct. So, if I exactly, so if I consider this, I mean, if I consider this, the parent of 2 should be, it is 1, but it is not actually in the 1th position. So the thing is, these representations, which I mean I will be talking about at the end. So these positions sometimes refers to, I mean, as programming array starts from 0, sometime there is a confusion between whether this should be numbered as 0 or this should be numbered as 1. So this is a confusion that you can face. So let's move ahead. I'll clear this doubt. You are absolutely correct. So you are absolutely correct about this. So for this node, or for for this node it's true. For this node, it is actually creating a problem. So yeah, I'll be addressing this. So if I equals to 0, as you can see, this one, sorry. So in which case it is the root. So I is at the root and has no parent, no problem. The left child of I will be at the 2i plus 1th position. So any child, so again, if I number them, every time the numbers are getting removed. So left child of I is at 2i plus 1. So left child, if I again choose any random node, so this, so it will be, the left child will be stored in the 2i plus 1th position, which is, so basically this node is 4. So 2 into 4 plus 1, which is 9. And so in the 9th position, the left child will be stored. There is a condition: if 2i plus 1 is less or equals to n minus 1. So if I consider this, so here the value of I is 6. So if 2 into 6 plus 1, so what is this? Sorry. So this is actually 13. But altogether there are how many nodes? Altogether there are actually the number of nodes are 10, but we are considering 15. So if this condition is not getting satisfied, that means the left child of this node for this condition will be an empty node or a null node or a empty child or empty subtree, whatever the name you prefer to call it. So it will be has no left child, as I have discussed here. Corresponding the right child will be stored in the 2i plus 2th position. So again 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, say if I called it say 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 12. So you can see the right child of this node is basically at the 2i plus 2th position. So it is 2 into 5 plus 2, it is 12. So basically the right child is stored in the 12th position in the array. And again there is this condition, if this condition is not satisfied, again this is not satisfied for here and here, I mean which actually is not, I mean which is not actually true. I mean there is a null node. So for these cases, these numbers will, I mean these nodes will not be having a right child. Again there can be some confusion in this regard as well for this node. For this node, this condition can be tricky because 2i plus 2, if I consider the value of I here, so the value of I for is 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 into 2, so basically I want to know the left as well. I mean this is actually for this node, this is problematic or confusing for this as well. So as you can see, this is the node, the value of I is here 3. So 2 into 3 plus 1 is actually less than or equal to n minus 1, isn't it? And also 2 into 3 plus 2 is actually less than or equals to n minus 1 here again, isn't it? You agree?
Yes, sir.
I mean you can understand the confusion. And the same condition for this parent, which thanks for raising this. So this is also true for this. For this condition. And if I mean this particularly this thing. So yeah, my question to you, what's actually causing us the problem? Any guess? Any random guess would do. Anyone?
So is it because of the numbering? I mean, you were numbering A from 0.
Correct.
So
Yeah, you were thinking in the right direction. Please go ahead.
number it from 1. Then I think if you take the floor function, I mean floor, so it is coming right, I guess, if I'm not wrong.
Achha, everyone with this? It's a nice suggestion that some of you had given.
So we can also just change the formula to floor of I minus 1 by 2 and it will work.
Very nice. So I'll be discussing both. So what you are suggesting, how to, so first let's change the formula. So you are suggesting instead of using this, what should be used?
Floor of I minus 1 by 2.
Floor of I
Minus 1 whole by 2.
1 by 2. Minus 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 So now if it is 0, 1, 2, so why this I minus 1 I am particularly putting? Because so the problematic thing, we can see that it is coming right side in the right subtrees when I was using this. So I minus 1, it will be 1 by 2. So if I take this floor, it will be 0. And it will also work for others as well, I believe. The other solution is if I use, so it's of course one solution. The other solution is using a numbering, say 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now tell me, we need to modify this. Left child is at 2i plus 1 and right child at 2i plus 2. How should we be changing it? So if I use the one, if I, instead of starting from 0, if I start from 1, where the left child of I will be storing and where the right child of I will be getting stored. It's easy. So initially it was 2i plus 1. Now it will be 2i. And the right child will be at the position 2i plus 1. Now check. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 5. This will be 6. This will be 7, 8, 9, and so on. Now take any random node, say this one. The left child will be, so the node is stored in the 3rd position. So the left child will be in the 6th position. The right child will be in the 7th position. Okay. Now let's look at the parent one. This one. So I am taking, so the node is in the 3rd position, right? So now if I use this I by 2, the mod of I by 2, so it is basically, please help me with this.
Floor of 3 by 2, which is 1.
Is again 1. So you both are absolutely correct. We need to modify either this formula or we need to change the numbering. So this is, so basically changing the numbering is the theoretical aspect of these 3 data structures, because theoretically it is starting from 1, but practically, as we know, array starts from the, in C, array starts from what index? From the 0th index. So that's why this is a much more acceptable solution if we look at the if we look at from the programming point of view. Everyone with me?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. But still, this condition, this thing is not entirely addressed. So why? Even if it is 4, 8, 9, or if it is 7 and 8, in either case, whether if you start from 0 or if you start from 1 here, this condition is not actually true, isn't it? So how to change it? So I'll let you to think a little bit about this. It will actually help you to understand the concepts a little bit. My hint to you is we need to change this criteria in some way. We need to impose some other types of things, other conditions, other type of condition checking to see whether any node contains a left node or a right node or not. Now you may think it will help you to understand the whole concept in a better way. All right. So basically what we will be doing is So here it will be A. So basically 0, 1, 2. So I will be following the first thing, that the starting array index is from 0. So from the programming perspective, I will be starting from 0. So in the 0th position it will be A, 1th position it will be B, 2th position C, D, now this 7 and 8 position you can put a /0 or null here. /0, as you can remember, represents a null. 9 will be containing H, 10 I, then again a /0, again it will be J. All right. So the bottom line is, for any binary tree, from the, again I'm telling you from the programming perspective, we will be following this. Left child is at I, left child of I will be 2i plus 1, right child of I will be at 2i plus 2. But also, as we have discussed, thanks to one of you, theoretically, it can also be told that the left child is in the 2i position, 2ith position, and the right child is at the 2i plus 1th position, provided the numbering starts from 1 instead of 0. Starts from 1. All right, so let's conclude here. In the next week, Monday, I will be starting with the linked list representation of array of tree, of binary tree specifically, and the linked list representation will be used for actually the writing the codes. This sequential or array representation, specifically the last one, we will be using this. I mean, we will be actually using this for the heap data structure, which will be discussed later on. And other than that, for implementing all the all the binary trees, we will be specifically following the linked list representation.